Hey everyone, welcome back. Quick reminder before we start. Season 2 ended with Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen gaining new dragon riders, Queen Alicent Hightower secretly offering Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen a plan to end the war, and King Aegon Targaryen already fleeing King's Landing without anyone knowing it yet. Today we are recapping Season 3, Episode 1 called Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood. Let's get into it. The episode opens in the Vale, far from the war, with a wild and dangerous dragon named Sheepstealer feeding on a sheep. A young Targaryen woman named Rhaena Targaryen has been quietly tracking this dragon for a long time, hoping to bond with it. Rhaena Targaryen approaches Sheepstealer carefully, offering it a sheep of her own. Sheepstealer accepts the offering and lowers its body, letting Rhaena Targaryen climb on. The dragon then takes off with her, flying wildly through the mist while Rhaena Targaryen holds on for her life. Later in the episode, we check back in on Rhaena Targaryen and Sheepstealer as the two of them slowly build trust with each other at the Dragon's Nest. Eventually, Rhaena Targaryen decides to fly Sheepstealer toward Dragonstone to help Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen's side, but as we'll see, she never actually makes it there before things get chaotic. From there, the episode checks in on the three new dragon riders introduced late in Season 2, Hugh Hammer, Ulf White, and Adam of Hull. These three have been sent by Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen to wait near Harrenhal, hoping to ambush Prince Aemon Targaryen and his dragon Vhagar if he ever flies past. They wait for 2 full days with nothing happening, and the waiting clearly frustrates all three of them. Eventually, a mysterious woman named Aelys Rivers, the same healer who has been guiding Prince Daemon Targaryen through his visions, appears out of the woods and warns them that they are missing a real battle happening near Dragonstone. Spooked by her sudden appearance and her warning, Hugh Hammer, Ulf White, and Adam of Hull abandon their ambush position and leave Harrenhal completely undefended from that threat, which conveniently works out so in Prince Aemon Targaryen's favor. Back in King's Landing, Prince Aemon Targaryen realizes that his brother, King Aegon Targaryen, has gone missing along with Lord Larys Strong. Prince Aemon Targaryen reacts violently and impulsively to this news. It turns out King Aegon Targaryen and Lord Larys Strong have been hiding inside a carriage, secretly traveling north away from the capital, without telling anyone in the Green Camp where they were going or why. Around this same time, Queen Alicent Hightower returns to King's Landing after secretly meeting with Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen at Dragonstone. She finds out that King Aegon Targaryen has fled the city, and that Prince Aemon Targaryen has effectively taken control in his place. Queen Alicent Hightower feels guilty about the plan she made with Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, and clearly wants Prince Aemon Targaryen out of King's Landing entirely. She tells him he needs to leave the capital and return to Harrenhal, warning him that staying could get him killed. The two of them share an unusually tense and awkward moment before Queen Alicent Hightower promises to meet Prince Aemon Targaryen at Harrenhal once she manages to leave the city herself. But Prince Aemon Targaryen changes his mind shortly after. He learns that Lord Ormond Hightower, Queen Alicent Hightower's cousin, is bringing 15,000 soldiers to defend King's Landing, and that Queen Alicent Hightower's youngest son, Prince Daeron Targaryen, is coming too, riding his own dragon named Tessarion. On top of that, Prince Aemon Targaryen learns that the Lannisters have convinced a mercenary fleet called the Triarchy, led by Tywin Lannister and a commander named Shirako Lohar, to attack Lord Corlys Valerian's ships blocking the Gullet, the narrow sea passage leading into King's Landing. With all these reinforcements on the way, Prince Aemon Targaryen decides he is no longer going to Harrenhal after all. Instead, he plans to stay in King's Landing and rule from the Iron Throne himself. This decision clearly alarms Queen Alicent Hightower, who was hoping to get her son far away from the coming danger, not watch him settle into power. Elsewhere, we check in on Sir Criston Cole and Sir Gawain Hightower, Queen Alicent Hightower's brother, who are marching an army through the Riverlands. Sir Gawain Hightower witnesses one of their own soldiers assaulting a local woman in their camp and brings the issue directly to Sir Criston Cole. But Sir Criston Cole, still deeply affected by the horrors he witnessed at the Battle of Rook's Rest, brushes off the complaint, saying that soldiers at war behave like animals. Sir Gawain Hightower pushes back hard, clearly disgusted that Sir Criston Cole refuses to hold his own men accountable. This shows just how much Sir Criston Cole has changed since the confident, principled knight we saw earlier in the series. Not far away, Prince Daemon Targaryen and his allies in the Riverlands score a real victory, defeating the Lannister forces sent against them. During this fighting, a Lannister lord named Jason Lannister is beheaded by one of Prince Daemon Targaryen's new allies, a battle-hardened northern soldier named Sir Roderick Dustin, who leads a group of fighters called the Winter Wolves. This episode also introduces us to Lord Ormond Hightower, Queen Alicent Hightower's cousin, who receives a letter from her instructing him to hold his position until Prince Aemon Targaryen can join him in a few days. When one of his own soldiers asks whether King Aegon Targaryen is even still alive, Lord Ormond Hightower gives a cold, practical answer, essentially saying it does not matter which brother sits the throne, as long as a Hightower-backed king is the one wearing the crown. It is a short scene, but it tells you everything you need to know about how the Green faction views the war at this point. Loyalty to the family and the cause matters more than loyalty to anyone. King. At Dragonstone, news finally arrives that the Triarchy fleet is attacking Lord Corlys Velaryon's ships at the Gullet. Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen immediately wants to fly out on her dragon to help defend the fleet herself. But her son, Prince Jacaerys Velaryon, refuses to let her risk her life like that. He orders one of her sworn protectors, Sir Lornt Marbrand, to lock Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen inside her own chambers to keep her safe. Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen is furious about being overruled and locked away by her own son and her own guard. Alone in her chambers, she takes out her anger by tearing into one of her own gowns with a dagger, sobbing that even though she has a woman's body, she has the will and authority of a true ruler. Instead, Prince Jacaerys Velaryon and Princess Baela Targaryen fly off together on their dragons, Vermax and Moondancer heading straight for the battle at the Gullet. This is where the episode shifts into its biggest sequence, the Battle of the Gullet, the largest naval battle in the history of Westeros. Just before the fighting starts, Lord Corlys Velaryon finally sits down with his illegitimate son, Alan of Hull, to apologize for never publicly acknowledging him or his brother Adam throughout their lives. Before that conversation can really go anywhere, lookouts spot the Triarchy fleet approaching, and the moment is cut short. Lord Corlys Velaryon, commanding the main fleet, spots Shirako Lohar's flagship and decides to lure it through a narrow, rocky, shallow passage that only he knows how to navigate safely. Shirako Lohar follows him into the passage anyway. She loses a few ships along the way, but her flagship barely makes it through intact. Once both ships clear the passage, Shirako Lohar surprises Lord Corlys Velaryon by ramming her ship directly into his instead of fighting at a distance. The two ships become locked together, and a brutal, chaotic sword fight breaks out across both decks. In the confusion, Lord Corlys Velaryon is thrown overboard into the water. His illegitimate son, Alan of Hull, sees this happen and channels his rage into a vicious fight against Shirako Lohar inside the flooding lower deck of the ship, ultimately killing her. While all of this happens at sea, Prince Jacaerys Velaryon and Princess Baela Targaryen fight from above on their dragons. At first, having dragons in the fight gives Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen's side a clear advantage over the Triarchy's ships. But then Rhaena Targaryen unexpectedly arrives at the battle-riding Sheepstealer, the wild dragon she only just recently bonded with. Sheepstealer is not fully under her control, and instead of only attacking enemy ships, the dragon starts burning down ships on both sides of the battle, including some belonging to Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen's own fleet. Princess Baela Targaryen, watching from above on Moondancer, initially assumes Sheepstealer is simply another enemy threat and moves to attack it. Prince Jacaerys Velaryon realizes in time that the rider on Sheep's back is actually Rhaena Targaryen, not an enemy, and he moves Vermax in close to stop Princess Baela Targaryen from striking her by mistake. But this puts Prince Jacaerys Velaryon dangerously close to the Triarchy's ships. One of the enemy vessels fires a massive harpoon-like weapon and strikes Vermax directly. The dragon is unable to stay in the air and begins falling toward the sea. Prince Jacaerys Velaryon is forced to let go and swim for the surface. He survives the fall into the water and manages to stay afloat for a moment, but then a volley of arrows from nearby enemy ships strikes him directly, killing him instantly. This is one of the most devastating moments of the entire series so far. Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, still locked away back on Dragonstone, has no idea her son has just died fighting a battle she was forbidden from joining herself. Princess Baela Targaryen and her dragon Moondancer are left to survey the wreckage and destruction left behind at the Gullet, while Sheepstealer flies Rhaena Targaryen away from the battlefield entirely, leaving the true outcome of the fight still uncertain as the episode ends. Back in King's Landing, Prince Aemon Targaryen is now fully settled into ruling from the Iron Throne, backed by the promise of Lord Ormond Hightower's army, Prince Daeron Targaryen's dragon, and the Triarchy's fleet. Queen Alicent Hightower, meanwhile, is left deeply uneasy, watching her son choose power over safety, fully aware that this war is nowhere close to over. Outro, and that wraps up our recap of Season 3, Episode 1. Let's do a quick summary. Rhaena Targaryen successfully bonds with the wild dragon Sheepstealer, but loses control of it during the fighting. Prince Aemon Targaryen takes the Iron Throne after King Aegon Targaryen secretly flees the city with Lord Larys Strong, then decides to stay in power once he learns major reinforcements are on the way. Prince Daemon Targaryen wins a real victory against the Lannisters in the Riverlands. And the Battle of the Gullet ends in devastating fashion, with Lord Corlys Velaryon surviving a brutal ship-to-ship fight, Shirako Lohar killed by Alan of Hull, and Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen's son, Prince Jacaerys Velaryon, killed in the chaos after his dragon Vermax is shot down. If you enjoyed this recap, please like this video and subscribe, because next time we will be covering Episode 2, Queen's Landing, where the fallout from this battle changes everything. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.